seen what? Chapter 19. What's happened so far? Chapter 19. 19. It's about Lot. And who is Lot? Who is Lot? God. Is that right? Who is Lot? Abraham's brother, right? I'll accept that, but really it's his nephew. Abraham calls him my brother, and the two of them are very close. They're close with each other, they travel together, they're very close, like brothers. And they love each other a lot. And it was really his nephew, but he was as close as Abraham's brother. And any time a father has children, I'll show you a picture. Remember? Terah, the father. He's the patriarch of the family. He has 3 sons: Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. Haran has 3 children: Lot, Milcah, and Iscah. Haran dies young. Who's going to take care of Lot and Milcah and Iscah? Who's going to take care of the children? The family. But really, technically, the responsibility becomes Terah's. It becomes like an adoption. He's an adoptive father to his grandchildren. So Lot is actually belongs up here in the same generation as Abraham, like a brother to Abraham. And they travel together. Milcah is Terah's granddaughter, but because she married Nahor, her uncle, and Iscah. Who is Iscah? Remember? We'll talk more about that today. We'll see. If we have time. But for now, we'll say Iscah. At that time, it was a family, and Abraham was called to lead that family. And he went out to there. He didn't know where he was going. God said, I'll show you where to go. Abraham said, okay, I'll go. Now, Lot and his wife, where did they live? Sodom. And it was next to Gomorrah. They were close to each other. So why is chapter 19 about Lot? What's going on in chapter 19? Who was taken out? The 2 angels that looked like men came and took them. Took Lot and his wife and his 2 daughters and went out and what else? Nobody else. His 2 daughters had already been promised to husbands, but they didn't believe, and so they didn't go. They stayed in Sodom. And then what happened? got a hand and warned them. So, walking along, what happened? Why did you look back? And I found a picture. Well, in chapter 19, the verse is 26. But his, Lot's wife, looked back from behind him. And she became, what happened? A pillar of salt. Now today, in Israel, there are lots of places that advertise, this is where Lot's wife, this is Lot's wife. This is the advertising of being Lot's wife. You been there? You saw it? It's advertised that, yeah, this is where Lot's wife, this is really Lot's wife. That's the story. I want to test it, but it's still there today. Now, that Lot's wife, that's a mystery. The salt, maybe it was mixed with stone, I don't know, whether the rain might have melted it. Again, I'm not gonna discuss with that. I'm just sharing with you what the story is here, what the legend is. I don't really believe that's Lot's wife myself, but I wasn't there. You know the time when she got back, really wasn't Lot's wife. So that's a picture of. It's like Pompeii. It's kind of similar. How many of you know the story of Pompeii? There was a volcano eruption, and people there knew it was coming, but they became frozen in the lava, and their bones were still there, but the word was called petrified. They became the ash. But Lot's wife was instantly turned to stone, petrified. So we don't know exactly what the pillar of salt really means, but again, I wasn't there. Lot's wife had a name. Jewish history, they gave her a name, like Edith or something. I think they're called her Edith, but the Bible doesn't really tell us exactly where she was from. In my opinion, wife was from Sodom. That's my opinion. Can't prove it, but I think so. When Abraham and Sarah and Lot were traveling, there's no mention of him having a wife. Later, he moves and settles down in Sodom, and now he has a wife, so where does the wife come from? And he has daughters that are still young, still virgins, not married, so they're still young daughters, so I'm guessing they were. Now Lot has been separated from Abraham for almost 20 years. So they had time, he had time to move, find a wife, get married, have his daughters, and then he had time. That's why Lot's wife looked back, because that was her home. Again, that's another reason I agree with you. She looked back because she missed her home, and she knew she was going to leave her home. Now, I wonder if today, there's no actual city there. It was destroyed. And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the earth. And he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. So God remembered Abraham. He said, okay, I'm going to save who? Lot. Took Lot and the 2 daughters. Remember, Abraham was negotiating with God. 50, 45, 40, 30, 20, 10, sure. For the righteous people in Sodom. He said, that's my limit, 10. So there have been 4, now there's 3 righteous people, and we'll see what happens next. And Lot went up out of Zoar. Now, hold on. And dwelt in the mountain. Remember 2 weeks ago, Lot was complaining to God. The angel came and said, come on, we gotta leave. Where are we going? We're gonna go out in the mountains. No, I don't want to go out and live in the mountains. Remember that? Please let me go live in this city called Zoar. It's a small place. It's okay. So the angel said, okay, you can go live in Zoar. Now, they're leaving Zoar, and they're going to the mountains. Why? I don't understand it myself. You were complaining about moving to the mountains. You didn't want to. Now you decide to move to the mountains. God already said, I'm not going to destroy Zoar. I destroyed 2 or 3 or 4 other cities, but I'm going to leave Zoar. Why? And so he finally abandoned Zoar and went to the mountains. Maybe because of his reputation, people looked at him and said, well, you got out of Sodom. And they might have, you came here from Sodom, and they might have looked down on him because the people of Zoar might think he has a reputation. I don't know. But they decided to move to the mountains. His 2 daughters with him, 2 people. For for he feared to dwell in Zoar. So again, why was he afraid to live there? Maybe he felt guilty because of the sin around him. He didn't want this to happen again. And maybe the people in that city blamed him. Maybe. Maybe he was fearing for his life. You know, that's a good option, but we don't know why Lot was afraid. But he was afraid to live in that city, so he decided to leave. And he went up in the mountains and dwelt in a cave. Anybody want to live in a cave? I doubt it. You could live there for 2 or 3 days, and then the slime would start to come up. And then you would start to hear the animals rustling around. You could feel the animals moving. You hear animals. You might feel them getting all over you. I hate having bugs on me. Can't stand it. He dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth." And what are they talking about? There's no man out there for us. That means
Rock baby.
they couldn't have a baby. They didn't have a woman, right? So they couldn't have babies. I agree. Zoar, there were men in Zoar, but they ran away. Lot abandoned Zoar. They could have gone to Zoar to find a man, but no, I'm puzzled by this just like you are. These 2 girls decided, well, there aren't any men around. And the older one had this idea. She had a plan. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in. He was passed out. The firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not that she lay down. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said to the younger, "Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also. And go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father." And the younger one arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, and she arose. Now, two righteous people. The 2 righteous daughters decided to lay with their father, and not even lie with him, but to force him. You know, that's called rape. He didn't know what was going on. He was passed out. So they took advantage of him and raped him. Yes, it's incest and force. But you have to understand where these girls come from. Sodom,
Go ahead.
right? But they fooled him and made him drunk. And he had no idea what they were doing. They knew it was wrong, but I believe that they knew right from wrong. Now, so the three righteous are now down to one. Two daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. And the firstborn bare a son and called his name Moab. The same as the father of the Moabites unto this day. We see that in Moses' writing. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So these names mean they admit to incest. Of course, you had to know where the girls became pregnant. There are no men there. Moab means from father. Ben-Ami means son of my people. They were admitting to this incest. They thought it was okay because they were preserving their father's line. And the result of this was going to make it hard for the future of the people of Israel. Why would it be hard for Israel in the future? I'll show you. The people of Moab are right here. People of Ammon are right here. So these two kingdoms. During the time that the Israelites were traveling, continually harassed Israel, and they were idolaters, and they led the people of Israel into evil. The Israelites accepted their idols and became corrupted, and God became upset with the people of Israel because they accepted Moab's and Ammon's idol worship. Now, why did this happen? Because of sin. Because of sin. Not only the law of sin. Remember that time, at that time there was no law. There was no 10 Commandments yet. God hadn't given them. But they knew in their hearts what was wrong. We'll talk about this later on today in the book of Romans. Yes. The righteous and the two daughters know about God. Lot knew God. Did he teach his daughters that? He should have. That's the way it should be. They met angels. They knew something. So the question is, did Abraham talk with God and negotiated God down to 10 people? How many righteous people were in Sodom? The New Testament right, not just Lot, as in only Lot, but just meaning righteous Lot. Vexed with the filthy conversation or behavior of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. My biggest challenge is why did Lot why did he move out? Why didn't he move to a better place? Yes, he had conflict with Abraham, but he could have tried to solve that. When Lot lived near Abraham, he was successful. His sheep multiplied, his servant increased, he had a good family relationship with Abraham, but then he moved away. He got closer and closer and closer to sin until he was living in sin and sitting in the gate of sin. He was a leader of the place. When it was time for judgment, he could have said, fine, if people, if I'm called there to witness, to change the place. But he had children there who went astray from God. There was no discipline, no teaching, no growth, no success, no future, nothing good, no good stories about him, nothing. We know Lot as Lot. His daughter slept with him. That's the one thing we know about him. And when people talk about Lot, they say, yeah, I know who that is. His daughter slept with him. That's the one thing that we know in the whole story. Not that his daughter's name, his wife's name, but a shameful thing. So we must have a better reputation than that. I encourage you. Yes, we live in an awful world. We live in Sodom, so to speak, today. Please don't be like Lot. You have potential. You have an opportunity to share your faith with people. Don't keep it quiet. And say, oh, I see, this place is such a terrible place. But I'm going to keep quiet, and I'm going to get through it, even though I hate it so much. Do something. Share your faith with others. Show the people your love. Share God's word with them. Lot had the potential there. He could have led a revival in Sodom. He could have, but he didn't. He kept quiet. It vexed him, it bothered him. I see this every day. But he didn't say a word. He just kept it inside. And when we speak up for God, I encourage you, don't be like Lot. Let your story be different than his. Please, I encourage you, I beg you. So that's the end you want me to go ahead with chapter 20?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead. See how much time I have left, okay? Chapter 20, I'm not gonna go back, but it's not that long. I like chapter 20. I don't know why, but I like it. Really, I like one character in chapter 20. We'll talk about that. So, Abraham. Abraham lived where? Where does he live? He lived in here, in the area of Mamre, the grassland there. He's just been visited by angels who will say, this time next year your wife will give birth. And he'll say, and he laughed and said, yeah. Chapter 20. What's happening? He moves from Mamre. Remember what just happened in Mamre? And what just happened in Sodom? Did that affect the crops or the grass? Possibly. People suspect that weather caused an impact on the crops or the grazing. We don't know why Abraham moved, but it says he moved. So this is Hebron, and the Bible says he moved between Hebron and Shur. So somewhere in this area. Not in Egypt, but on the way to Egypt. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country. Thence means Hebron and Mamre, in that area. And journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur. I just showed you on the map where that was. Sojourn. Now, he didn't really live there. Sojourn means what? To travel around a little bit like a nomad. So he traveled around. He didn't stay long in one place and settle down. He followed where the land was available and the grazing was good. So he sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, she's my sister. And she is my sister. So, is this the first time this has happened? No, the first time this happened was in Egypt. He didn't want the king to kill him. So the first time this happened, how old was Abraham? 75. He was 75. His wife was 65. Right, she was 10 years younger. And have you seen women who are beautiful at 65? I doubt that I could fall in love with him, but I seen him for 65-year-old man. Now, Abraham is how old? 99. And that means his wife is 89. I've never seen a woman who's 89 years old that's gorgeous and beautiful. Never. Yes, but do I want to marry her? I dated her. I did date her one time, yes. But that was 10 years ago, right? She was 79, that's fine. Now, 89, sorry, not anymore. But now, Sarah's 89 years old. Abraham is still saying, "She's my sister." Why? He's scared that they're going to kill him because she is so beautiful.
Amen.
The king would want to marry her. And the king would look at Sarah and say, "Wow." And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. He said, "I want you." She's 89 years old. He said, "I want you. Come here." But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "Behold, thou art but a dead man. You are a dead man, because the woman which you have taken is a man's wife. She's married to another man." And he was stunned. Now first, I love him. I love him. One reason I love him is because he thought this 89-year-old woman was beautiful and fell in love with her. Secondly, I love the guy because he seems to be sensitive to the Lord. He could have ignored this dream. But was that a response? No. Abimelech's response was the right thing. He responded in the right way. Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, "Lord, wilt thou also slay a righteous nation?" Meaning himself. "Said he not unto me, she is my sister?" And she even herself said, he is my brother. And the integrity of my heart, I'm an innocent man, and innocency of my hands have I done this. He said, "I didn't know." Was that the right response? Yeah. He said, "God, I didn't know. They told me. And I had no idea. I'm an innocent man here. I didn't know, I don't know what Abimelech looked like, or how old he was. Maybe he was an old man himself. And he wanted to contain him. I don't know what. He was in love with Sarah, but he had plans. He had not come near her, but he planned to. Raise your hand. Knew of God. How did he know God? That's a good question. I like that question. How? Did Abimelech have another wife? I don't know. I don't know his story or his history or his background or his situation. I don't know. The Bible doesn't tell us anything else about him. He liked Sarah, and that's all we need to know. It's a good question. We're asking how Abimelech knew God.
Well,
He dreamed. Have you had dreams before?
No.
Honestly, several times in my life, not just once, but many times, I've had dreams. That I should take off and fly. I dreamed that I could. Not just one time, but several times. I could take off and fly.
but dang it.
Didn't work. I mean,
You know what?
my dream came.
What?
But Abimelech had a dream. You could have said, oh, just a dream. But Abimelech responded and understood. His response shows that he believed in God. Where did his belief in God come from? How did he come to believe in God? Yes, remember? Not that many years ago, Noah and his son, within the last 400 years. So it's possible that there were still some pockets of people who still believed in God. And maybe Abimelech was one of those. It's the same with Melchizedek. I don't know how to sign that, but he was a priest and a king of Salem. He was a real person. I think he was, but how did he know God? It was passed down to him from his ancestors to believe in God and worship God. He hadn't yet gone astray and worshipped other gods. So Abimelech said, I'm innocent. And God's response was what? See you next Sorry.
Come on. Don't the man find okay.
They were females. I could find and give you the names, some of the names of the idols that they worship. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't tell you, sorry. No, that's Greek. Molech was one. And there was another one. I can't remember what it was. Maybe Molech. I'll give it for it. I don't want to get it wrong. But they did have a temple. And there's one good thing that
But
Ruth. It gives me chills. I love that story of Ruth. I preached on that a little while ago, the book of Ruth. Wow, God blessed that woman. And
Amen.
she is in the line of Jesus Christ. Came out of her. That's a beautiful story. So let's close now. Our Father in heaven, I thank you for your beautiful message here. Even though some things that you put in your word are disgusting and ugly, and we don't want to see it. But still, you knew that you would use it for good. You used this family of Moab and that family line that came from it, and a woman named Ruth, who married a Jewish husband who died. She followed her mother-in-law back to Israel to marry a man who accepted her. His name was Boaz, and he was an ancestor of David. He knew how to use ugly things to glorify you. Thank you for using me, Lord. I'm ugly. I admit my story and my sin, my history, my background is ugly. But you use me for your glory, and I thank you for that. Lord, I pray and beg you, don't let us be like Lot. We know you, we feel convicted in our hearts, it's bothering us, and we are vexed because of sin, but we don't say anything, not one word about you. His own son-in-law ignored him, rejected him. Imagine that. Lord, I beg you, don't let us be like that. May our children and those around us know that we stand for you. We stand for righteousness and goodness. We stand for truth.